Everyone, welcome in. Jason Hackett and Alicia Lewis with you to kick off this Tuesday. And man, we're kicking off pretty chilly, 28 degrees outside.
It is very deceiving. It looks so nice. The sunshine is great. It is deceiving, though, so still get that coat. Let's get out to John. I just keep looking at your 7-day. It is a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it's a good 7-day forecast. I mean, it's good. Listen, in April, you never really know what you're going to get. You don't know. I mean, it could be in 70s, it can be in 20s. You don't know. Now, this weekend, we'll love it. We're going to be in the 60s. Maybe we do hit 70. But it's going to be more about just having sunshine and no washouts. And it's April. We can have a lot of washouts. 25 degrees out here right now. Crisp start. Grand Marais, I thought -2 was good. -4, that's an actual temperature in Minnesota at this time of the year. I don't know. I'm like stunned that they even have summertime up there. It's hard to believe. Every year I go up to International Falls, I go across the border. It's in the 80s or 90 degrees. We rapidly warm in this state over the next month. It's calm and quiet. Winds will start to increase out of the south, and you'll see that south wind initiate here. That does allow us to warm, so we'll get up to around 49 or 50. So thicker coats on, and then shed the layers a bit as you head into the afternoon. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful Tuesday. I know there's a lot going on I-94. Cece, what's going on?
Yeah, a lot going on later in the morning for sure. I do want to give you a look at the bigger map here. It's still crash free at 6:02 this morning, but like John was mentioning, between 35W and Highway 280 in Minneapolis on 94, there's a road project, roads down to just 2 lanes here. We see a live picture of that right now at 6:02. I mean, if we take a look at this picture right now, things are very quiet, but just after 6:30, that's when things start picking up. And then when we get into the morning rush, we see even more backups in this area. So specifically heading into Minneapolis on 94 westbound, we saw that you needed to add extra time to your commute. Of course, not right now, but later on, adding 20 to 30 minutes would be a good idea.
All right, good advice there, Cece. Thank you. We have some good news to share this morning involving your money. Finally, the world market's trending upwards in the last few hours.
I should say at least for now, right? The future is in the green after 3 days of losses. Michelle Beck is at the live desk ahead of the opening bell here at 8:30 this morning on Wall Street. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, hey, good morning, guys. We are in a much different place now than we were 24 hours ago. Futures here for the S&P Dow, as well as the NASDAQ are all up. Right now, investors are worried whether Trump's tariffs will push the world economy into recession. Prices, though, have fallen enough to get some back into buying. In the last 24 hours, Wall Street has been on a roller coaster, marking the highest number of shares bought and sold in nearly 20 years. We are waiting to see how the market reacts tomorrow when President Trump's 10% tariffs kick up a notch for dozens of countries. We are on China watch all morning long to see if it'll give in to Trump's new demands to drop its retaliatory tax on American imports. Trump's deadline for that is today at noon. Otherwise, he's threatened even higher tariffs on the world's second largest economy.
I have great respect for China, but they can't do this. When countries don't allow us to sell our product, but we allow them to sell their product, those days are over.
President Trump, find a way to put down the golf clubs and pick up the papers, the financial papers. Take a real look at what's going on here, because it's anything but great.
The White House says at least 50 countries have reached out to negotiate lower tariffs. And in an interview with Fox News yesterday, the Treasury Secretary suggested those negotiations could last till June. Alicia.
Of course, we'll keep eyes on it this morning. Michelle Beck reporting from the live desk. Thank you. Well, 6:04 is the time. Please take a look at your screen. Stop what you're doing if you can. The Minnesota BCA is asking for help finding this man you see here. They say Mavidi Zanzu was last seen leaving his home on Saturday in Brooklyn Park, and he hasn't been seen since. So anyone with any information is asked to call Brooklyn Park Police.
Another big story we're tracking this morning. In just over 2 hours, a U of M grad student detained by ICE is expected in front of a judge for a bond hearing. This comes as we get new information about why he was detained in the first place. So the memo sent to ICE from the U.S. State Department states U of M international student Duhukin Gnaden poses a threat to U.S. public safety due to a drunk driving conviction in 2024. The memo shows that his student visa was revoked because of the DWI and that government officials would not notify him before his arrest due to ongoing ICE operational security. So his attorney argues the termination of his student status was unlawful, writing misdemeanor nonviolent offenses such as Mr. Gnaden's criminal conviction do not meet this threshold for termination based on criminal history.
Developing right now, historic flash flooding impacting millions across the South and Midwest following days of nonstop rain. And we know this morning at least 23 people were killed in the last week from the flooding and destructive tornadoes down south. But take a look at what it looks like right now in parts of Tennessee. Homes and roadways completely flooded, leaving thousands stranded and without power. Several rivers in the state, including the Mississippi, are expected to crest later this week. Officials are now warning people to wait on the cleanup process until that happens. And in Cincinnati, the Ohio River is hitting levels not seen in 7 years. Wow, this images out of there are just incredible. You can see floodwaters completely submerging cars, roads, and an outdoor amphitheater. Officials saying you can't get to some restaurants on the river without a boat. The section of the river is expected to stay in the moderate flood stage through tomorrow.
At 1:30 today, the Minneapolis City Council Business, Housing, and Zoning Committee will be discussing Minnesota's cannabis industry. In the last 24 hours, an administrative judge approved the rules governing the adult use cannabis market, allowing the state to start issuing business licenses. That process can start later this month. The State Office of Cannabis Management says business license lotteries will take place this summer.
If you're booking a trip, you got to hear this. This morning, we're less than a month away from the deadline to get a real ID. And if you don't get one soon, you might not be able to fly. Audrey Russo's live at MSP Airport with a look at what happens if you miss that deadline. Hey, Audrey.
Hey, Alicia. Yeah, you may not be able to get on the flight wherever you're going. Now, I checked the latest numbers from the state and I saw that only about 40% of Minnesotans have a real ID. So that's fewer than half, and we've got 28 days to go until the real ID enforcement begins. So if you're part of that 60% and you use your driver's license as your main form of ID to get on a plane, tick-tock, y'all, time is running out. So on May 7th, that is the beginning date. That is when all passengers 18 years or older will have to have a real ID or a state-issued enhanced ID or a federally approved form of ID in order to board a plane. Some of those examples would be a passport that's up to date or a permanent resident card. Now, according to the TSA website, certain Homeland Security trusted traveler cards like global entry cards will be allowed to. I reached out to MSP officials for more clarification on those programs, and for an example, if you leave for a flight with your non-real ID on May 4th, and then you're scheduled to come back on May 8th. Right now, every indication is that you will not be allowed to get back on the plane and come home. So this is a deadline that you need to keep in the forefront of your mind as you're planning your travels. Now, what if you have the CLEAR program? Now, if you're a part of that, I went on their website and I saw the same message, the same wording posted on their website as I saw on all of the federal travel websites, which say you need to have a real compliant ID in order to board a domestic flight. So obviously a lot of considerations here. How long does it take to get a real ID if you don't have one yet? And what documents do you need in order to get it? Well, I'll break that down coming up in about 30 minutes, but for now, Jason, Alicia, I'll send things back to you.